This is not a hit piece on Robert Sanchez, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a discussion point that we need to talk about. Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really genuinely do hope that. And yes, not Chelsea news, although it will be riddled across the news. Rob Sanchez's poor performance against Arsenal, and it was a poor performance. We will talk about him holistically this season and generally under Chelsea moving forwards, but make no bones about it, it was a bad performance, and it was worse than I thought. I watched the post-mortem on Match of the Day, and yeah, it's not looking good, Brev. Now, again, I really want to reiterate early doors, this is not a hit piece, this could be a good investment. Rob Sanchez, he could represent a good investment. We're going to look at it holistically, so thank you for joining me. We are going to get into it today. I feel a little bit better this morning after yesterday's disappointing result against Arsenal, because I've had time to rest, regulate, percolate and become a little bit more philosophical on where we are and where we're going. So, thank you for joining me. We're going to get into it. You're welcome to subscribe. If you do want to support the content, please do hit like and comment. I do feel a bit like a boomer content creators when I'm saying like and subscribe. Does anyone even do that anymore? Does it even matter? Am I going crazy? Would I even know? Alright. Rob Sanchez. Look, let's quickly highlight what happened yesterday. Chelsea, for 77 minutes, were a dominant side against Arsenal. We could have, Cole Palmer nearly scores another one, drags it right wide. I think he gets a couple of chances. Nico Jackson played through by Raheem Sterling. Obviously, coming off the bench cold, makes a poor decision. Let's Raya gets his hands on it. That could be 3-0, 4-0 that game. But no, Robo Sanchez plays a pass immediately to Declan Rice, and it's a categorical goalkeeping error. He puts his arm up almost to have a go at Enzo Fernandez, saying, "Oh, you should have been in that space where I passed the ball to." No, Hermano, that was an error on you. He was poor on the Trossard goal as well. I didn't speak on that yesterday in my complete breakdown. If you are interested in my thoughts on the game in its entirety, please do watch Complete Breakdown, the previous upload to this on the channel. And I go into good performers, etc. He was poor on the Trossard goal. And yes, upon reflection, taking off the blue-tinted glasses, he could have well conceded a penalty when he goes out to punch, takes out 3 players. I think it's a Chelsea player and 2 Arsenal players. Gets nowhere near the ball. I mean, Alan Shearer on Match of the Day was like, yeah, it's a stonewall penalty. He's very, very lucky how he didn't get a penalty. Whether I believe it that much, I'm not so sure, but yeah, you could have absolutely conceded the penalty. And when we saw a few more replays, had VAR looked at it like that, we may have been thinking, okay, penalty. And that would have been very, very frustrating. So a very bad day out at the office for Rob Sanchez, indeed. Now, I've generally been an advocate of his, not loosely, I'd say loosely, because he was a cheap acquisition. He cost 20 million plus add-ons. And that's cheap, especially from a club like Brighton, but he had been bombed out of the squad, so they didn't really have a leg to stand on. De Zerbi wasn't playing him. And yeah, I thought it was okay. But then we looked at the stats. Do you remember when we signed him? I was trying to do some stat videos like I do here sometimes. And I was comparing him to our current, Keer Balaga, who still belongs to Chelsea, who's of course on loan at Real Madrid. I know Thibaut Courtois is injured, but he's their goalkeeper. He's Real Madrid's goalkeeper, Keer Balaga. And I did a statistical comparison thinking, not Ben Roberts, that's our goalkeeping coach. We'll speak about him in a moment. Rob Sanchez. And I looked at it, I was like, actually, they're pretty similar. And maybe Kepa's a little bit better. I'm not going to show it in today's video because this is a discussion piece, but I looked at his statistics again today when I was on my phone on X Value. And yeah, Kepa's stats are better. They're just flat out better. Now, okay. We got rid of Kepa and not many people would, mind too much. It did seem like Pochettino liked him and he could have been the goalkeeper for us, fine. But not that many people cried when he went. Everyone thought, well, Bayern Munich and Real Madrid are fighting over Kepa Arrizabalaga. Clearly this guy's a good goalkeeper. But the truth is, his assets value was poor, and this represents a great opportunity to get his value trending up in terms of being on loan at Bayern or Real Madrid. And that's good for Chelsea to try and sell him. He's on massive wages. Like massive wages. He's on massive wages, and you have to look at comparatively now. Robert Sanchez, despite being Spanish international, he represents a homegrown player because he's Brighton Academy. Tick. He costs £20 million, so his financial fair play outlay is very, very low. Tick. He's 25 years old, so he's 3 or 4 years younger than Kepa Arrizabalaga. Tick. And he will be on significantly, like maybe even like a third of the wages that Kepa was on. Tick. And if you want to trust the coach gang, their desired profiles, the long-term plan, then yes, Ben Roberts, the goalkeeping coach that we retained from the Brighton transition, divorce, whatever, when Potter took all some of his, I think we might still have Carl McCauley, the analyst. He may have gone, I don't friggin' know. Certainly, Bruno Saltor snuck out recently, didn't he? Yes, but Ben Roberts, goalkeeping coach, Chelsea wanted to keep him. He stayed. He's apparently a really highly regarded goalkeeping coach. He loves Robert Sanchez. So you get to keep him happy. He thinks, right, he's our boy, he can keep him tick. So in theory, as an asset, as a desired asset, he ticks all these boxes. But he's been shaky, he's been up and down, he's made some great saves. And I was actually quite happy with it. I was like, it's nice to like, these really important roles like striker and goalkeeper that we've spent 100 million on Lukaku, 71 million on Kepa, breaking records for striker and goalkeeper. I really like the idea of going into the season and having a £30 million striker who's young and can develop and do well in Nico Jackson, and a £20 million goalkeeper who's, for a goalkeeper, he's still very, very young. And I like that. I was like, yeah, we're moving away from these like Galactico price tags with these really important roles, and maybe there's value to be found in a lot cheaper, options who can develop and less pressure on them. Maybe. And of course, Nico Jackson may come good. And I did a video here, like, relatively recently, reflecting on Jamie Carragher's comments about just digging everyone out in the Chelsea squad, saying they're not good enough. He said the striker's not good enough, the goalie's not good enough, they might need another midfielder. I was like, well, we absolutely don't need another midfielder. You're off your head, mate, because not only have we got this amazing midfield that's playing very well at the moment in Fernandes, Caicedo, and Gallagher, we also have a £60 million player in Romeo Lavia. We have Leslie Ugochukwu. We've got amazing young, midfielders out on loan in Santos and Cassidy. We've got Carney Chukwuemeka. Like, our midfield is flushed, bro. Go away. You don't know what you're talking about. Striker, I took issue with that as well. I was like, yeah, you don't know about Nico Jackson. Like, he looks pretty good. People were praising how he was playing. Give him a friggin' chance, man. And then he said goalkeeper as well. And I kind of defended that. I was like, yeah, but he's got a lot of experience. He's got a capacity for improvement. Robert Sanchez. And, but maybe the Scouse is right. I said this on my Instagram. Loathed am I to align myself with Jamie Carragher at any point in my existence. But here I am. Maybe he's right. If you want to follow me on Instagram for interactive content with yours truly, at FootballYannick. At FootballYannick on Instagram. See you there. So yes, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. A very poor performance for Rob Sanchez. Now, I saw a friend of mine, Alex Goldberg, I saw a clip of him on social media saying, look, largely Sanchez has been good. And maybe he has. He won Save of the Month, whatever that's worth. And generally our defensive record hasn't been awful. But loads of people are criticising him. Carragher did. Gary Neville, who's, in my opinion, was a wonderful commentator and pundit, but his work in both punditry and commentary are both declining. The trend is very negative. Maybe it's ever since he took the blood money. Still, I won't digress there. But he was like, oh, he's flapping, he doesn't look good, just a great Chelsea performance, but the goalkeeper. And I don't know, I guess it's because you're biased and you want to be like, oh, well, players are good. But yeah, maybe he was playing poorly and that just came out. Like, Pochettino, rightly, by the way, defended him, saying, no, that's nonsense, this can happen and it's you can't place blame. That's very much the correct position to take as a manager. when one of your individual players makes a mistake like that, especially goalkeeper, because it's fragile. Yes, I'm cerebral and lucid to the point how I'm feeding into, the criticism and how that might not help long term. But it needs to be discussed, and I feel like it is a discussion point. Is Robert Sanchez good enough for Chelsea? I don't know, man. De Zerbi looked at him and was like, well, you can't play with your feet. And I looked at the stats and looked at his passing stats and I was like, oh yeah, he can't really play with his feet. And then in a massive game against Arsenal, yes, it's up to Chelsea to score those chances. Cole Palmer, Nico Jackson, and then just also better forward play that will develop over time. As soon as he made that pass, the whole game changed because, Declan Rice just puts it into an empty net. Thank you very much. The Arsenal fans wake up. The Arsenal players wake up. Oh, yeah, we're in this game. Because for 77 minutes, they were like, oh, they've just got us. They've got 2 goals ahead. We've got no clue what we're doing. We can't do it. He's literally injected a lease of life into them and gave them a point and took 2 points away from us. Not intentionally and, of course, indirectly. I'm very mindful of players' individual mental health, and this is not a hit piece on him, and I'm not saying get him out. I'm posing the question that I've seen of his holistic body of work this season. Is he good enough for Chelsea? Well, Chelsea have got an alternative in, of course, Georgia Petrovic, who we've not seen yet for a minute this season, not even in the Cup. I do wonder in the FA Cup if we'll see him. Of course, he's an even cheaper goalkeeper, so we really haven't forked out the goalkeepers here. Maybe the new ownership and football directors feel like there's so much more value in goalkeepers without forking out loads of cash. So just look at Andre Onana, at the moment. Georgia Petrovic, I've reported here on the channel or reflected on reports that his camp believe that he's not going to be number 2 for long. And this is when Sanchez started pretty well. That there's a great deal of belief in him, the younger goalkeeper, and maybe he could become Chelsea's number 1. Or is this a position on the pitch that Chelsea do need to just drop 50 million bags on? Now, I'm not saying get Sanchez out now, but he is potentially on fraud watch. I'm not saying get him out now, but look, people are asking some questions every now and again, and in a high-profile, high-pressure derby game like that, when you're at home as well, this wasn't at the Emirates, this was in his own backyard at Chelsea where he's being supported you've seen you can make saves, bro, but it's these moments that make you, and so far I'm worried. Again, this is not a player that we brought in from abroad, this is a guy who's got a lot of Premier League experience that was deemed not good enough for Brighton in terms of how he plays. Now, that could have just been a fallout of De Zerbi and, a misalignment of personalities. I'm very, very open to that being the case. And he comes to Chelsea, he steps up, reborn, the goalkeeping coach loves him, the footballing directors decide he's the one. But I do wonder, is he Chelsea? A good Chelsea goalkeeper, you think of Benetti, Cech, and Courtois. Courtois is possibly the best goalkeeper in the world. We hate to admit it because he absolutely snaked us, make no mistake. He did the opposite of Eden Hazard. He definitely snaked Chelsea. I don't give a crap. I know he's active on social media and gives it a large, and he's pointing to the Real Madrid badge when Chelsea fans were giving him stick. But he did. He said to Chelsea he'll resign. He went back on his word and then refused to turn up to training to push a move. I'm sorry. He did the same thing to get his move to Chelsea, apparently. He did the same thing to get out of Chelsea. And he had a crack on De Bruyne and his wife. So, it's the kind of guy we're dealing with. Sorry. Oh man, I'm not editing this video, so that's just got to stay in there. Okay, let's just take a breath, shall we? All right, let me know what you think. It is a discussion point. Is he good enough? Should Petrovic be given a chance? Is it just one game? Have you seen a lot of positives from Sanchez to just be like, look, yeah, just take this one on the chin and we move? But it is a talking point. I'll be very keen to learn your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. So thank you for leaving those, and hopefully see you around here soon if you subscribe. All right, peace.